wastewater treatment, and very little was done. However, in Marathon in Key Largo, they opted in about 2005 to start moving forward. Key Largo taxed themselves. It always is interesting to me that, you know, widen their roads up there or put in a bike path along US 1 and there's outcry, but there was no outcry or very little when they were assessing themselves for sewer. So it's always interesting where the issues lie within different communities. So since Islamorada dragged its feet on wastewater, we are in the situation where we did hire an engineering firm and we are moving forward. And what could have cost us $65 million in 2001 now costs us $132 million. So for every year that we delayed, it cost us $7.4 million. Delay is not the answer. We've got this fine engineering firm. They're not only doing the design and engineering, they're doing the project management. The wastewater plan takes us through 2014. And by that time, it is estimated that the entire village will be hooked up to a central sewer.
Time. Mr. Purdo. All right. I forgot what question, sorry. Question 1. Please address the choice of a versus on-site treatment method as a method of meeting required wastewater standards and what proposals you have to address the problem of treating our wastewater.
The first one is to repair phase 1. We have to get these people off the hook. 6 years is long enough. That's biological contamination. People's insurance has been flawed, and no one on this city council has addressed that issue. When do we fix it? That's number 1. Number 2, my opponent fought to keep all of the sewers here locally. She wanted to build 2 plants instead of going to Key Largo right off the bat. Well, that delay cost us $7 million because now we have to run a pipeline from Tavernier Creek all the way to Key Largo. And we didn't have to do that. On-site systems are something to look at. I've been researching this for over a year now. In several companies, we had a phosphate problem. But several of the companies now tell us that the phosphate problem is solved. We could save the business people absolute millions of dollars by letting them upgrade right now, and they can upgrade to 2015 standards when that legislation is passed. We have to look at all the options. I don't believe we've looked and studied the options. This council has not studied all the options fully. But the main thing now is before we go further, we have to fix phase 1 and phase 2 and help these poor people out. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes round 3. Now that I think I've got this figured out, let's see if I can mess up round 4. Seat 4 for Mr. Johnson. And this is question 5. Elaborate on your approach to environment through such methods such as waste management, recycling, waste reuse, etc.
Okay, I believe that this waste management company is doing a fairly good job. I would like to see vegetative pickup added once a year. We used to have that, and particularly one great big vegetative pickup prior to hurricane season. I think it would be very helpful once again in this community. The environmental threats that come from central sewers are worse than anything that we can imagine. Nobody really knows what's going to happen when we pump all of that fresh water into an ejection well in Key Largo. We don't know really what the effects of the reef are. Now, if you get 2 different scientists, you'll get 2 different opinions. But I'd like to know more about that before we made that decision. Also, if you had on-site systems which do meet the 2010 standards, you could diffuse the water reuse, which is particularly important when we're looking at water shortages, controls, and higher water bills. So if we could use the reuse water ourselves, that would be particularly helpful and on our own vegetation. That's about it.
Thank you. Ms. Gillis?
May I have the question, please?
All right. Elaborate on your approach to the environment through such methods such as waste management, recycling, water reuse, etc.
Well, I'll start with recycling because I do think we've made significant progress on recycling. There's more to be achieved, and I think there's more education that can be put out there and more encouragement to people, but I think we've achieved a lot. I think Viola has at least got a good start on getting us on the right track. I think they could do some more encouraging. I think it takes more than Viola, and maybe in their next contract we can include some vegetation, more vegetation. I know there's home vegetation is already allowed to a certain degree, but a certain number of cans. I don't have, in my businesses, I don't have that available to me. Mine is completely separate. As for the environment in general, I believe that the wastewater pumping to Key Largo is a pure, cleaner water and will help protect our waters, and it's important to protect our waters. And I believe that the on-site reuse would be very difficult at this time because it is very restrictive as to what you can use it for. It has to be certain distances from this and that, and the regulations are very strict as to how you can use it. As a homeowner, it would be difficult. It's great as a golf course or a large expanse of ground, but in a homeowner's system, it's much more difficult.
Back to seat 1, Mr. Bates. Question 3. In these difficult economic times, what is your business plan for Islamorada not only to survive, but also to grow and prosper?
We need to make a more business-friendly government here in Islamorada. We need to clean up the budget. I propose an independent citizens advisory committee to oversee the sewer project and to give new perspective on staffing of Islamorada. I believe we need to simplify and help businesses to grow. This is going to generate tax income together with grants. Will stop the assessments because you have a whole chain of assessments going at you, not only to fix the problems that we've had, the delays in buying all this property and building sewer plants, and now we're not doing that, but also for the mismanagement of your funds in the past. I won't let that happen under my watch. We can improve services while reducing the budget. We don't need a manager at this amount of income. We don't need 53 attorneys when we can have one on staff. And I have to correct what I've been hearing here. If you go over the legal bills, you will see 4 attorneys charging at the exact same time over and over again. You need to go through these bills to really get an education. What they are saying they don't travel for travel time, it's not correct. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Etchenberg?
Please repeat the question.
Okay. In these difficult economic times, what is your business plan for Islamorada not only to survive, but also to grow and prosper?
The purpose of a business plan is to be a roadmap toward a business goal. And since we as a government, a community government, have many goals, our business plan, of course, has to be many faceted as well. The first thing we have to keep in mind is that we have to show a commitment to this plan in order for it to work. And as we derive it, for example, the marina, the enterprise fund for the marina, when John Suter was asked to come forward with a business plan, he did a very good job and the marina is thriving. This can be done in our other areas as well. Our planning department, finance department, all can come up with plans that will show their commitment to moving forward toward the business goal which they are to achieve. Overall, we as a community